Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the Nostalgia Factor. And today, guys, is going to be a brief collection video, but this time around it's actually going to contain some very cool and rare pieces of merchandise. I've made it clear in past videos that I have been accumulating a massive retro video game collection of sorts in terms of merchandise. I've been collecting a lot of Final Fantasy VII merch since it's my favorite game of all time, but I've also been collecting a lot of Pokemon merchandise as well for a secondary collection, mainly surrounding both Generation 3 of Pokemon like the Hoenn games and the manga and whatnot, since Emerald's one of my favorite games of all time. I love the Hoenn region, but I've also been collecting Pokemon Ranger merchandise as well. It's a very underrated sub-series of Pokemon that I've done reviews on for all three games here on the past, so if you're interested, there's a playlist here on the channel if you want to check out my reviews of those games. But I love them so much that I've been branching off and trying to collect merch from the Ranger games as well. And fortunately, in this video, I was able to track down some very rare pieces that I wanted to share with you guys for another collection update. With that in mind, guys, I don't have a ton to show you for this one. There's some extremely rare pieces of merch, a lot of which I didn't even know existed. So let's jump into it. So this, guys, was a very unusual piece that I came across randomly during an internet search on eBay. This was a promotional item released in Japan for Pokemon Emerald. You can tell because of the green bandana as well as the designs of May and Brendan, who are the video game Gen 3 protagonists. But I was doing some research and I randomly came across this promotional item released in Japan back in 2004 when Emerald came out, of the bandana that the female protagonist, or May, wears in the games. I had no idea, once again, that this existed. It was a 45 centimeter replica of the bandana headwear she has, and it looks kind of similar to Brendan's hat there as well, but this was a promotional bandana released for Pokemon Emerald. Honestly, this didn't cost me too much on eBay, all things considered. It was like 50-60 bucks, but given the fact that this is a rare piece of promotional Pokemon merch from my favorite generation and my favorite game, this was just something I had to pick up. But this is just a case of something I had no idea existed, so if any of you guys are interested, get to searching on eBay. There might still be some out there. So a small little piece here I have for Pokemon Ranger. This is a promotional button that came out. When the original Pokemon Ranger released back in 2006, they had a number of merchandise items that they used to promote the game, and this was one of them. They would give these out at conventions, or could have been a pre-order bonus of some kind, I'm not sure. But this was a promotional item for the original Ranger, and it's nothing too special, things considered. You have your two main characters there, the male and female protagonist of Ranger, along with your two possible partner Pokemon, Plusle and Minun. You have the original Ranger logo there, as well as the Nintendo DS where it came out on. So, nothing too special, all things considered, but this is one of the very few pieces of Pokemon Ranger merchandise that actually exists. And this was around 15 to 20 bucks to pick up on eBay. Nothing too crazy at the end of the day, but it's cool to have a piece of Pokemon Ranger merch, period. And once again, I had no idea this thing existed. Guys, this is the rarest piece of the entire video. It took me a while to track one of these down for a good price, but this here is an actual piece of promotional Pokemon Ranger merchandise. This is a promotional store display that they would use. Basically, this is one giant sticker, once again depicting the male and female protagonists of the original Ranger and the partner Pokemon. But if you guys can't tell, this is an actual sticker that would be put up in the front glass windows of game stores to promote the game when it came out. Usually after the adhesive wore off or the game was done being promoted and sold in the stores, these things would be thrown away. But fortunately, I managed to track down one of these pieces of advertisement on eBay. This thing is far bigger than I expected. When I realized that this was a sticker, like, store promo item, I wasn't sure exactly how big it is, but as you can see, that's a pretty decent sized space on my wall taken up. But I absolutely love this thing, not only as a fan of Pokemon Ranger, but I always wanted to have some kind of display items from the game, and this was just another cool piece of merch I did not know existed for this game. And the fact that some of these items are still around here, an actual promotional item that they used to advertise the game when it originally released, is just really freaking cool. I absolutely love this thing. It's currently being held up with some tape you could probably see around there. I'm not going to take the back adhesive plate off of it, because if the adhesive ever wears out on the wall, it's not really going to be a cool collectible anymore. Most likely have to throw it out. So, but this is just a really cool piece in the collection. I absolutely love this thing. So the other thing I ended up getting for the collection too, guys, in addition to the Pokemon Ranger stuff, was a figure of May from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, specifically the female protag from the ORAS games, the remakes of the Gen 3 games that released on the 3DS. this. This is another one that I picked up off of eBay. This is another Japanese exclusive. They had a line of these minifigures when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out. You guys can see you have the Gen 3 Pro tags there, Brendan and May from the games. Then you have like Trico, you have Mudkip, you have Torchic, and a number of other Gen 3 Pokemon there as part of this minifig collection. It was pretty cool. It was fairly cheap on eBay to pick up, so it wasn't too expensive. The figures themselves really aren't that big, all things considered, but they're pretty detailed for what they are, featuring the Gen 3 Pro tags and their remake outfits, as well as pretty articulate detail there on some of the other Gen 3 Pokemon. This is pretty cool. Nothing too crazy, all things considered. I know there are full-blown statues of the original protagonists from the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald games from the GBA, as well as the remakes, and as well as statues of, like, Grovyle and Blaziken and all them, but this is a pretty cool little minifigure to pick up off of eBay. There's a whole line of these things. I might try and go for some others, but the detailing on these things are pretty incredible, and this was another cool little pickup for the collection. And that's going to wrap it up for this collection pickup, guys. All in all, some very cool pieces I had to show you guys this time around for my Pokemon Gen 3 / Pokemon Ranger collection that I'm building up. There's some just incredibly rare and really cool items from parts of a franchise that I really do love. The Ranger series is extremely underrated, as I've made clear in my past reviews, and you guys at this point know how much I love Pokemon Emerald and anything related to do with Gen 3 in the Hoenn region. But these are just some incredibly cool items, especially that Pokemon Ranger store display that I never thought I would come across, and it's just really cool. There's some more promotional items for Ranger out there I've come across that I do intend to pick up, and as of this video, I do have a few more merchandise items coming related to Hoenn and Gen 3 surrounding Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So I'll have to include that in a future collection video once I get enough pieces in. But otherwise, guys, that's really it for this video once again. Thank you guys for checking this one out. Hope you found some of these items pretty cool. Definitely look them up on eBay if you're interested in getting any of them for yourself. But these are just really cool additions, and I'm glad to have them. But let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. Do you guys find this merchandise cool? Do you want to pick up any of it for yourself? Do you guys have any cool collectibles related to Gen 3 or Ranger that I'm not aware of? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like. It does help out the channel. And subscribe if you guys want to keep up with future retro gaming content concerning reviews, collection pickups, collaborations with other content creators, and everything else we do here for retro gaming nostalgia. But that's all from me. And until next time, this has been Ryan from the Nostalgia Factor saying, keep on gaming.